person. But then then the premier found out that the person was a colored person. The premier says, darn, you should have shot him more times. If he was a Caucasian, Premier Ford would say it's all right for a homeowner to defend his property. But once Premier Ford saw in the news the image of this individual, it was no longer, hey girl, hello. One left. Happy my birthday week. It was no longer I want my cigarette to explain this. Taking longer to light my cigarette. So there's a model that used to go, I used to always say, don't shoot. I'm not black, I'm brown. But this homeowner, we don't know what led. Because when we saw these people running out of his home, they had nothing. So where these young kids set up? Because there's nothing that shows the timeline. All you're saying is that these kids decided in daytime to run in this place with the guns showing? That don't make no sense. And the premier, when you heard that this individual was shot, now a premier would say, we regret that homeowners have to shoot people. But when you saw that this individual was someone who's called black, you reply, you should have shot him more times. Premier Ford, all you saying is no longer shooting is called black. Yes. Shoot him a lot of times so he dies, so he doesn't come back because he's called black. Because clearly, you're making this comment. You know, when you told me for 2 years before you were elected, and you ran me down just to shake my hand and meet me and tell me that nobody in Rockford respects more than me. I've given you respect. And no matter what your political views are, Doug Ford, I told everyone, I'll always have respect for you because you gave me the acknowledgement I earned. When you ran me down 2 years before you were elected premier, then you told Bico and says, Kevin Clark, I have to meet you. I had to shake your hands. You had to tell me something that out of anybody, no one your brother Rob respected more than me. And I gave you respect, Doug Ford, but that's a child on that mother's belly. And if that child was taught wrong or end up in a situation or environment that lead them to getting wrong advice or wrong guidance, and they get shot, you are saying, kill him? That's what your statement says. Because if he ends up in the hospital from being shot once, imagine if he was shot a couple more times, he'd be dead. You are condoning murder, you're condoning death, because if you shot him once and they flee, and you, the premier, say you should have shot him more times, the second, third shot would no longer be self-defense, it would be murder. How can you, the premier of Ontario, be telling people to commit murder? That is grounds, Doug, for you to fully explain. Apologize. If you do not apologize to everyone in this province and make amends, then definitely, Doug Ford, even with a majority government, you must resign. That is grounds. That is grounds for, even with a majority government, Doug Ford, that's grounds for you to resign. Now, I could make a joke and say, they say, don't shoot, I'm not black, I'm brown. I could make a ground that when you thought it was just a basic robbery, that you said, you know, shoot them once. They are fleeing. When you say you should have shot him more times, you're saying they should have committed murder. That's what your statement says. He shot him, they're running away. If you shot him the second, third time, as the premier says, the premier said you should have murdered him. That is grounds for him to fully apologize, make amends, or immediately resign, even with a majority government, Doug, because that's a violation of the laws of this country. And that's a criminal act, brother. You are just basically, what's the word? Promoted murder.